Good morning, people. As you know, the watcher is always watching, always observing, always learning, always pushing forward. So today, I have another public announcement amongst many that I've given, my beautiful videos that I have produced, more of a diary. So here it is. I got something for you. A lot of people do not understand this concept, and I have talked about it a million times. I've even struggled with it to understand it myself. And the more I understand about this topic, the more I realize, damn, there's a lot more to learn. But when I look back and I look left, look right, I start realizing just how much a lot of people around me have no clue, haven't even started the journey to understand this concept. This is a very, very pivotal concept. Very deep and far-reaching concept that I think that a lot of folks need to get. Now, my channel is mainly directed towards the betterment of our people who look like myself, and that's what that is. Now, what I want to talk to y'all about today is language. Language. The English language. The English language is diced up. It's a mash of different languages throughout the centuries and throughout time. I have done a little bit of research into the matter years ago, and it kind of like made me pause, and I always started to retain information pertaining to language. I've always had this little itch to be able to understand certain things about language, right? So what I found out was the English language, and you got to track on this one. You got to follow. The English language, 1/3 of it is missing. According to my research, 1/3 of the English language is in fact missing, hidden, not known by the majority. Now, there is the second third of English language. If you were to break English into one whole piece, take English and put it into one whole piece and break it and dissect it into three. So thirds. 1/3 is missing. 1/3 is very, very, it's on the collegiate level. It exists in business, it exists at the highest levels of government, it exists as the business class language, which is legal or legalese. It's the stuff that's stated in the dictionary or the dictionaries. There's more than one dictionary. So that's one of the major things that a lot of people just don't get to really digest. So you have that, and then you have the common English language that everybody speaks, but most misunderstand or misstate. So English language has a past tense, present tense, future tense. You can say it happened, it's going to happen, or it's happening right now. Now, with that moving forward, everybody has to do their own homework on that. So now, for moving forward from there, I want to really, really delve deep into what I want to talk about today, which is race and culture. They are distinctively misunderstood. Race does not exist. It is a figment, it is a fiction. It is an economic tool in order to be able to keep people in a certain organized fashion to compete in. It's like a football game or a baseball game, car race, any kind of competition. Okay, we erroneously contribute race to being people's color and where they come from. That's false. That is another example of people playing tricks and fooling the American people, or the English-speaking people in this country, in this great United States of America, and just pure, being idiots. It's the dumbing down of America. Because when you look at when you look at race, the word race, it has a definition. But in those definitions, it's not historical. So meaning that somebody may be 100 years ago came up with this idea, and it stuck. And now people are living off of an idea that some ignorant, illiterate, wingnut had back in whatever and whatever, years ago. And people are actually acting off of it. When they say cops are racist, or they say white people are racist, when they say all these other people are racist, when you get to black folks, you say, well, black folks are racist too. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. Okay, well, let's pause for a minute. That comes from the fact that people don't understand what the hell the word race is. They don't understand its historical intention and its true definition. Race is a figment of people's imagination. What they're really referring to is culture. That's what they're referring to, is a person's culture. That's what I want people to grasp in this blog here. It's their culture. So I'm listening to a lot of different things here about Meghan Markle and the royal family doesn't like her because she's black. Well, she ain't black. Let's put it this way. She about as black as Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris ain't black. They belong to different cultures. Black culture is not the same as, well, black culture is not one big monolithic race. It doesn't include that what they call a race. So you have black people who are broke, living in the ghetto, in the projects. They're violent toward each other. They get into little tribal skirmishes every single fucking day. They make music, and it's somebody who is rich that is so-called black, that has a business mind, that understands the truer definitions and meanings of things, have accumulated money. See? Now here's where the video really gets to the meat of it. If you are rich, and I mean you have money, you have over 100,000 or whatever you equate as rich or wealth, you understand things differently. And you are rewarded for understanding these things differently. Or you could be blessed to reward other people for understanding things differently. And that different understanding means that if I have money as a so-called black person, and I say, you know what, I want to make some more money, I will be hard pressed to go into an Arab, a white, an Asian, a Jewish, a whatever, a Hispanic community, and to feed off of their poor or impoverished people. Let me say that again. A black man, a so-called black man, is going to be very hard pressed to go and make money and capitalize off of the poverty of another race. You're going to be very hard pressed to do that. Even their impoverished, low class, as they would call people, culture of people, are not going to turn around and do business with your black behind. They're going to do business with somebody who looks like them. Fast forward. Now we're here to black people dealing with the lower rungs of black culture, which is your so-called Pookie and Ray Rays and your little Sharkeishas and all that other stuff, all the little ghetto fights, on my mama, on the hood, all of that shit. That is lowest classes of black culture. That's what that is. Usually those are the impoverished class of black culture. And you know that because when they do get money, the first thing they do is they start talking about they hood. And it's like the most important thing is that they don't get kicked out of their culture. That's why they grasp so much to it. And it's like they are rewarded. So let me back up. If I'm a rich person, if I'm a rich black man and I want to make money off a poor black man, I'm going to go to that poor black man and I'm going to exploit his culture. Same way everybody else is done, because we realize that that's the path to wealth. I could go to this hood, this ghetto, take this black person and all of their dysfunction and put them up on display as a cartoon character or for something to be laughed and disrespected. And I can monetize that and make money and advertise goods and services while they degrade their own people and celebrate degeneracy. And what I will do is I will create a whole nother class of people that celebrate that culture, that ghetto hood culture, and make money. But my black ass ain't gonna send, my so-called black ass ain't gonna send my so-called black children amongst kids, other kids with that same culture. Rich black people ain't gonna send their kids to be to elbow with Pookie and Ray Ray. W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington had two different ideologies. They basically came from two different cultures. Some people get from one culture and then bind into another culture. And then we don't understand it. We think that they just being bougie. They ain't real niggas, as people say. You see, that is the biggest misunderstanding that we have as a people. That we're not one big monolithic race. If you think I'm kidding, go ask Maxine Waters to sell her multi-million dollar estate and go move into the ghetto to go and live with, she's in California, so go live in Compton. Over there where the Grandies used to be, or over there maybe where, in the North Hood, or, you know what I'm saying, over there in Piru, over there. Go stay right smack dead in the middle of their neighborhood. She ain't gonna do that because she's not part of that culture. But but the people from inner city parts of Compton will sit there and celebrate her. She's not gonna move into Hunters Point up in San Francisco. She's not gonna move over in the Acorn or near the Acorn projects in Oakland. See what I'm saying? She's not gonna, with her black constituents, the people I love so much, my people. She ain't gonna live around them. She ain't gonna live around you. Why? Because she's not part of that culture. People just don't understand that the so-called race is not a big pizza. It's not a pizza. It's not one singular pizza. It's diced up. It's actually different boxes. If you really want to get technical. It's a whole nother box with different ingredients. Another pizza. She's not going to move in there because she understands that this is not part of her culture. She gonna live next to you. She's not gonna send her kids next to school with you. None of that. But she'll sit there and make laws and policies that govern over you. That's supposed to be for you. But really they handicap you and it's monetized. Because they're not part of the same culture. The so-called Asians. The Asians sat there, and a lot of people say, well, the Asians are all the same. They're the same culture. No, they're not the same race of people. They're Chinese. No, they're not. We call them Asians, erroneously contribute them as Asians, but they're actually different people. They're totally different people. So when you have an Asian, and you say that person's an Asian, so if you take, let's say, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese culture, and you say, they're all Asian, so if we put them all in the same community, you don't think that they would divide? You don't think they would divide? They speak different languages. That's why you have Chinese, Japanese, and Korean languages. That's the first thing first. But they're part of different cultures. So Japan went to war with each other for so long, for a long time ago, way back, long time ago. They went to war with each other for a long time. They had these warlords, they call them demiurges or something like that. They went to war with each other for a long time in Japan. And they got really good at going to war. Just like how they do in Africa. They got really good at going to war. These warlords, these chieftains got so much power, and these clans got so much land and so much, resources that eventually they start fighting against each other. And then one would kill the other one, and they would take over everything, and they would bigger and bigger and bigger. And then eventually they got so big and bad and mean and used to fighting that they went over to Korea, which was a little more peaceful, a little more, laid back. They went over there and slaughtered, ran through them because they was mad. They wanted to take over China. So they invaded Korea, stayed over in Korea for a while, and China sent resources to Korea like, hey, get rid of this, because they were right at the Chinese doorstep. They fought for years. You do your research and you know how the story goes. It happens all over. So race and culture is two different things. And people always, and it cracks me up, when they sit around and they actually don't, they act like, the cops is racist. No, policing is a culture that encompasses different cultures. You see what I mean? Anytime you have one group of people with one ideology and one doctrine and one tasking goes against another, it is what it is. Because here's the thing. You got black officers out here on the job that see these Pookie and Ray Rays and see all heinous, foul, ignorant, diabolical shit that black folks do to other black folks, and they don't like it. So they'll lock up, your children, they'll lock up, these, teenagers or whatnot for just being, being real niggas, essentially. Because of that culture. They don't like that culture. They probably came from that culture. They don't like it. They see the detriment in it. They see why it's just counterproductive. So they fight against it, they stand up against it, and they join police departments. Or they make laws against it. But don't think for a second that all black people are the same, because we're not. That all white people are the same, because they're not. It's different cultures. And until people understand that, race is an economic tool in order to make these people compete. So when white people compete against black people compete against everybody. You see what I mean? White people don't compete with everybody. They could try, what they do is they establish control over everybody. But that's not a form of competition. That's deleting the competition. But on that note, I might make a part 2 to this, depending on what I see in the comment section. Because I believe there's a lot, I see that there's definitely a need for a lot of conversation to happen on this matter. Because it's a very, very, very intricate subject, and there's a lot of prerequisites that need to happen so people can have an understanding of how things go. Yeah, that's a new building there. Yeah. But anyway, I'll say again, peace, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So you can refine yourself. And then, I grant y'all that and wish y'all that. And on that, peace.